What if the greatest city ever built did not vanish once, but twice? What if its story survived longer than its stones? Beneath the noise of history, the name Atlantis echoes still, a place of wealth, wisdom, and ruin. For some, it was paradise. For others, a warning. But was it real? Or does the truth lie scattered in the ruins of two worlds lost to the sea? 2,000 years ago, Plato wrote of Atlantis in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias. He spoke of a vast island empire beyond the Pillars of Heracles, greater than Libya and Asia combined. Its kings ruled with divine favour until greed and pride turned them against the gods. In a single night, earthquakes and floods erased them from the world. Plato claimed he did not invent the story. He said Solon, the great lawgiver of Athens, had heard it from Egyptian priests who guarded memories far older than Greece itself, a memory of a civilization that fell when the earth rebelled and the sea rose to claim it. Atlantis was said to be built in rings, land and water intertwined like a spiral of harmony. Palaces of shining stone, bridges of copper, temples plated in silver and gold. At its heart stood a temple to Poseidon, surrounded by canals and fertile plains. It was a city designed to honor gods and display human greatness. Over time, that harmony shattered. The Atlanteans, once noble, began to conquer their neighbors, enslaving nations and spreading their empire through war. The gods, seeing arrogance take root where reverence once lived, gathered in council and cast judgment. What followed was not vengeance, but balance restored by catastrophe. In a single night of storms and fire, the island of Atlantis sank beneath the waves. The sea boiled, the mountains fell, and the memory of an entire people was swallowed. When morning came, the ocean was still, and where a continent once stood, there was only silence. From the Renaissance to the modern day, scholars, mystics, and explorers have chased the name Atlantis across maps and seas. Some found ruins and swore they were the remains. Others dismissed it as allegory. Yet the question persisted. Why did Plato's story feel less like a myth and more like a memory? In the heart of the Aegean lies Santorini, once called Thera. Around 1600 BC, its volcano exploded with a force greater than any in human memory. The blast erased entire islands, buried cities in ash, and sent tsunamis racing toward Crete. The Minoan civilization, vibrant, peaceful, and advanced, began to vanish. Before the eruption, the Minoans were masters of the sea. Their palaces at Knossos and Akrotiri were filled with colour, art, and running water. They worshipped gods of nature, built vast fleets, and traded across the known world. In their brilliance, many see the first true echo of Atlantis, a people living in beauty and balance before the sea reclaimed them. On that day, the earth shook and the horizons split open. Fire poured from the mountain and ash blotted out the sun. The sea retreated, then returned as a wall of water that crushed every shore. The gods did not need to punish these people. The world itself did it for them. When the skies cleared, nothing was the same. The Aegean was dark with floating pumice and ruin. Trade collapsed, crops failed, and the Minoans faded into myth. Centuries later, Greek sailors would tell stories of islands swallowed by the sea, of thunder that destroyed nations. Perhaps they remembered Thera without knowing its name. In every culture touched by the Mediterranean, stories of floods and lost lands appear. The Greeks had Atlantis. The Hebrews had the deluge. The Sumerians told of Utnapishtim. The sea keeps no records, but its rhythm repeats, rise and fall, creation and loss, all written in waves. Plato's tale placed Atlantis beyond the Pillars of Heracles, the straits now called Gibraltar. For some, this pointed west toward the Atlantic. Explorers looked to the Azores, to Madeira, to the Caribbean. Others claimed the island lay near Spain, in the marshlands of Doñana, where aerial scans reveal strange circular ruins beneath the sand. Far from the Mediterranean, beneath the grey waves of the North Sea, lies another lost world, Doggerland, a land bridge that once joined Britain to Europe. For thousands of years, it was home to rivers, forests, and tribes. Around 8,000 years ago, rising seas and a colossal tsunami drowned it forever. Archaeologists have found traces of its hunters and dwellings deep beneath the seabed. To those who lived there, the flood was not a story, but a slow, unending death. Day by day, the sea crept closer, until one morning, the land was gone. To remember that terror, they may have given it a name: Atlantis. Across time, humans have carried memories of great floods, stories of punishment, renewal, and loss. Perhaps Atlantis is not one event, but many. The collapse of Thera, the drowning of Doggerland, the rising of seas after the Ice Age, different voices telling the same truth, that nothing built by man can stand forever. Modern explorers have searched with sonar, submersibles, and satellites. Ruins lie scattered across oceans, temples in India's Gulf of Cambat, walls beneath the Caribbean, cities off the coast of Cuba. Each discovery fuels belief that Plato's tale was more than myth, that human memory runs deeper than time. In southern Spain, near the ancient city of Cadiz, archaeologists have found ring-shaped structures buried in marshes, their proportions eerily close to Plato's description. Satellite images reveal what could be docks, walls, and channels long lost to the sea. If this was once Atlantis, it drowned not once but twice, in water and in centuries of forgetting. The story of Atlantis mirrors the cycles of the earth itself: fire and water, birth and ruin. Civilizations rise from stone and vanish beneath it. What remains is the warning whispered in every myth, that pride and nature are old enemies, and time always remembers the moment we forget our place. For Plato, Atlantis was not just geography, but philosophy. He used its destruction to teach the danger of moral decay. His city was a mirror held up to Athens, showing what happens when wisdom gives way to greed. Yet his allegory was too vivid, too specific, to come only from imagination. Perhaps Plato took fragments of many real disasters and bound them into one: the drowned island of Thera, the lost land of Doggerland, the whispers of Egypt's priests. Out of those fragments, he created a parable, a truth hidden inside a dream. And dreams are sometimes truer than history. Atlantis endures because it promises both discovery and redemption. To find it is to prove that greatness once existed and could exist again. Every diver and archaeologist who searches its depths is also searching for the proof that humanity can rise after it falls. Geologists now know that the world has drowned more than once. Melting ice, shifting crust, tidal waves born of mountains collapsing into the sea. Each age buries another. Somewhere in that endless rhythm, the real Atlantis waits, not as a city of gold, but as a memory carved into the ocean floor. Atlantis did not die when the sea took it. It died when humanity forgot, when stories faded and maps erased its name. Its second sinking was into silence, the slow submersion of memory beneath centuries of doubt. Yet even buried, it breathes. For every generation raises it again, rebuilt in imagination. Each lost city unearthed by archaeologists, Troy, Knossos, Pompeii, reminds us that myth often begins in truth. What was once dismissed as legend now stands in stone. Perhaps Atlantis is waiting for the same awakening, somewhere beneath layers of sand and time, where history and dream touch hands. Atlantis reflects us, our pride, our brilliance, our hunger to endure. It tells us that knowledge alone cannot save a civilization if wisdom is lost. Its lesson is not about where it sank, but why. Every empire that forgets balance between power and virtue risks sharing its fate. The sea forgets nothing. Every storm, every ruin, every name is written in its tides. It hides the past, not to conceal it, but to preserve it. Beneath miles of water, fragments of the first cities sleep, waiting for the world to remember them again. Today, satellites and sonar trace the ocean floor in detail Plato could never dream. Each scan brings new shapes, terraces, channels, circles. The sea is giving up its secrets, piece by piece. But even if we find Atlantis, the question remains, will we understand its warning? Atlantis sank once into the sea, and again into myth. But both drownings gave it immortality. Its ruins became every lost land, its lesson every age's reflection. It lives not beneath the waves, but within the human story itself, the endless cycle of creation, loss, and remembrance. For all our searching, Atlantis remains suspended between legend and history. Too detailed to dismiss, too elusive to prove. Perhaps fragments of it lie scattered across the world, in Thera's ash, in Doggerland's sand, in Spain's silent marshes. Until the sea surrenders its final secret, Atlantis will remain where it began, half truth, half myth, forever waiting to rise again.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more great stories. Cheers.